Fun.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, Dylan.
Hey, good morning, Lee. What's up? What's going on?
Nothing. How are you doing?
Doing all right. Chilling.
Yeah,
Yep,
me
having
too.
a good day.
Me too. Yeah, yesterday was fun telling the boxing stories. I kind of enjoyed that. Somebody asked me what happened to Lionel. Where's Lionel the boxer? I don't know, Lionel's one of those guys. He's either in jail or out of jail. I often wonder if he's alive or dead. I'm sure he didn't die. If he's dead, it wasn't from natural causes, I'm sure. Anyway, I don't know where Lionel is. He shows up every now and then. And last time I saw him, he showed up here. He was in great fucking shape. He looked like $1 million, and he had a brand new jumpsuit on. He must have just got out of jail or something. He looked really good and was very clear-headed at the moment I saw him.
Okay.
But
That's good. When was that about?
That was before COVID.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know where he is now.
Is he still involved in boxing in any way? Do you know?
Lionel?
Yeah. Is he
No, he's older now. He's the same age as Tyson. So
Right.
those guys are old men now,
Yeah.
It's hard to believe. It's been a long time. So that's the story of Lionel. I don't know where he is. Like I say, maybe one day he'll just show up here and Lionel will be at the door and we'll have him on the podcast or something.
That'd be great. Yeah.
The whole boxer thing, I think about getting boxers on the podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know if I'm worthy to sit in the same show with those guys because they're so courageous and so, who am I to even be a part of that? You know what I mean? It's sort of weird. Like, what right do I have to anyway, it's a weird thing. It's a head trip.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, maybe some of the guys I know we could have on.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
That'd be fun. There is one guy, Alex Garcia. He's a friend of mine. Alex, there was a famous Cuban boxer named Teofilo Stevenson. And back in the day, he was undefeated Cuban boxer. And everybody wanted to see him fight Muhammad Ali or whoever was the champ. But he would never go pro. He stayed national hero of Cuba and was a boxer. He would win every time at the Olympics and everything. But he was only ever beaten one time. And it was at the Panama Games, which is sort of like the Olympics. It happens on alternate years from the Olympics.
Okay.
But he lost at the Panama Games to this unknown fighter. And that fighter was Alex Garcia, this friend of mine. And Alex, Alex will go down in history as the guy that beat Teofilo Stevenson.
Oh, wow, that's pretty
Alex
cool.
is a big heavyweight guy. He was here recently. There was a car show out on the boardwalk, and he was here. It was like all the lowrider cars and everything. And he showed up, and hopefully he'll show up again here. I saw him just a few months ago. Anyway, good guy.
You have his number by any chance and give him a call?
Yeah, I
schedule?
do.
That could be cool, yeah.
Yeah. Alex, he just shows up. All these people just show up. Like, what was that one guy? Anyway, people just show up because that's how boxing is, You sort of run into people and get to know people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love boxing. We could... I didn't really have anything specifically to talk about. I was thinking yesterday that I've run out of stories. Here I am, 4 months. I know I said this yesterday. 4 months, I have nothing left to say.
Right.
I could start repeating myself, right? And then we also said I could start lying. Lying is kind of fun. But that's for the virtual world. The thing I like most about the virtual world, I go in a virtual world all the time. The whole thing's a lie. You know what I mean? Really? But people are in there. They don't think it's a lie. Like they really believe it, and
That's funny.
They really do believe it. I understand. I believe it too, but I also know it's a lie simultaneously. But when you're in there, you really feel invested in your avatar. Like your avatar really feels like you.
Yeah.
It has all your emotions. It's the weirdest thing. It has all your emotions, all your feelings. We have a saying in there, everybody brings their shit with them.
Right.
So in the virtual world, you think you go in there without your shit, but you don't. You bring all your shit with you into the virtual world. Yeah. So any problems you have in the real world, you bring them with you. People think they go in there, leave them behind, but when the shit gets crazy in the virtual world, your shit is still with you. Yeah, that's how it is. So that's a funny thing. People that have played that stuff for years and years, they realize that
Right.
It's hard to escape your shit. Like you're still who you are, even if you're an avatar in there. You still have some of your.
Right.
Yeah, you are who you are. But on the other hand, the whole thing's a fucking lie. You know what I mean? Everybody in there is nobody's really truthful. It's the whole thing's a lie.
Well, the word virtual itself means, fake, not true, not
Oh, is that
real.
what that means?
Yeah, virtual. When you say something's virtually indestructible, it's not indestructible. It's like almost kind of indestructible, but not.
Well, then we're
not completely
almost
so.
we're almost something in there. We're almost real, but not
Yeah, but
really.
not
Yeah,
real,
yeah. So that's kind of the fun of it, it's the lying aspect of it. And the other thing I do in there that pisses a lot of the players off, I tell them that we're cartoons. And it really infuriates people in the virtual world if you tell them they're a cartoon. But at the end of the day, we're all a bunch of cartoons in there. We're artwork.
Yeah, for sure.
No matter how cool we are or how far out or whatever we are in the virtual world, it's all art.
Right.
It's artwork. So we're like, we're cartoons. But the people in there get so mad. Don't call me a cartoon. They really believe, it really insults them to call their avatars cartoons. But I like being a cartoon my whole life. Even as a kid, I wanted to be a cartoon. Did you ever watch cartoons and wish you could be a cartoon?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I love cartoons.
Yeah, that's when I first went in the virtual world. Some people go in the virtual world and instantly they're captivated. They're just instantly hooked. I was one of those people. Because I always wanted to be a cartoon, and all of a sudden I go in there and bingo, there I am. I'm a cartoon.
Right.
It's like everything's possible. You can make up your own backstory.
That's pretty cool. So
I've made up the most insane backstories in there, just the complete lies.
What's your backstory?
Oh, I have different ones for different avatars. Every avatar looks so it has a backstory if you want it to have one. Some people have no backstories. Some people use the virtual world like electronic rocking chair.
Sure, yeah.
They just go in there and park every day. They might as well be at home drooling on themselves,
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
And they listen to classic rock, or they'll go to places in the virtual world that classic rock's always playing. It's like going to a torture chamber with a bunch of people in rocking chairs.
Yeah.
Even though they're not sitting in rocking chairs in the virtual world, mentally it's an
Right.
electronic rocking chair to be sure, or wheelchair or walker, whatever you want to call
Right.
it. It is.
Yeah, they might be confined to a wheelchair.
I've had friends in the virtual world that I knew for a few years, and then they tell me, oh yeah, in the real world, I'm paralyzed half my body. I'm working the computer with my mouth and one hand, you know what I mean? Like people really, I've had some really good friends that turns out they were handicapped. And the thing they like about the virtual world, just like in the movie Avatar,
Right.
is they're not handicapped in the virtual world.
Yeah, that's right.
So like if you're handicapped in real life, in the virtual world, you're not handicapped.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm technically handicapped, like I have handicap stickers and I'm actually handicapped, but it doesn't slow me down. So I don't feel like I'm a handicapped guy in the virtual world, because in the real world, I'm bopping around doing stuff.
Yeah.
But I could qualify for that if I wanted to play that card, but I don't. But there are some people in there that are actually really, really paralyzed and fucked up in the virtual world, and they're barely able to work their computers, but they like it in there because they're like everybody else in there. They don't. And then the other thing that's really weird is some people in the virtual world are in wheelchairs in the virtual world. And I often wonder, I wonder if in real life they're not in a wheelchair and they chose to be in a wheelchair in the virtual world.
Virtually handicapped.
Like if you choose to be a victim in the virtual world, like why would anyone go in the virtual world and be in a wheelchair unless they wanted the virtual world to be an extension of their real life self?
Right.
But that doesn't make sense. If you were handicapped in real life, you would want to not be handicapped in the virtual, I would think. But maybe not. Maybe people are proud of their inability to walk or whatever it is they got going. I don't know. But
it's fascinating.
But I love the virtual world. I love it. I love the lying aspect of it. I have to admit, it's one of my favorite things about the virtual world is just to say whatever.
What's an example of one of the backstories of your characters that you've fabricated?
That I want to share? No, I don't want to share my backstories. They're salacious.
Okay.
They're salacious,
So this is like, it's like The Sims online, right? You have these avatars kind of hanging out and you talk to people through
Oh, yeah,
messaging.
everybody, you can communicate
can
directly with somebody
build stuff.
privately, or you
Yeah.
can talk to them in the open,
Yeah,
in an open kind of chat where other people can read what you're saying.
right.
Now, nobody really uses their voice. They all do it typing. Even though our virtual world has the ability to use voice, only
Right.
the perverts use voice. They get in there and they have these adult sims, and the perverts go in there, and it's like all the serial masturbators are in there.
Yeah.
In there moaning and groaning so each other
Jeez.
can hear. It just sounds
That's terrible.
It sounds gross to me. I'm not into that.
You might get a kick out of a Grand Theft Auto online.
I've checked that out.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. There's some great
It's insane.
games. And,
Yeah.
and our virtual world is technically classified by the FCC as a video game.
Yeah.
But it's open-ended because there's no rules. Like most video games have some kind of rules or some kind of narrative of certain. In our virtual world, you make up your own narrative, your own rules, your own world. You make your world however you want.
Yeah.
So there's different areas in there. Like there's whole areas that are nothing but perverts, and then there's areas. Then there's schools. There's like a bunch of colleges in the,
Wow.
and you can sit in the college in the virtual world and take a class and get real world credits.
No way.
Like, so Texas A&M University, they've rebuilt their whole campus in the virtual world. We actually stole a couple of their buildings because we needed buildings that looked like college buildings.
Yeah.
I have a really gifted person in our tribe she's from the Netherlands, and she can steal anything in the virtual world. If she sees a building, she can just snag it. And so she's a very useful item. She's very creative. But what was I going to tell you about it? Oh, fuck, now I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, I love the virtual world. I love that we can do whatever we want in there, and we can open-ended, just whatever we can imagine we can be.
Yeah, it's like an open sandbox style.
Yeah, and you
type
can
game.
say what
Yeah.
you can say whatever, like you can say whatever in there, and you can ask whatever questions. My thing in there basically is I like to ask loaded questions. I like to fuck with people. I guess that's the best way to put it. Not everybody in there is on that wavelength, though. Some people get really upset about that, but that's how the virtual world is. There's a bunch of all kind of people in there.
Yeah.
I'm just one kind of person. I like to ask questions. Like ask questions like why are people in there? Or why does somebody choose to be fat in the virtual world? Like there's people in the virtual world that are like, their avatars are like Fat Albert. They're like this big, and they're just the fats going all directions at once, and they're just like these big, like cartoon characters. And you think, why would you want to be a fat person in the virtual world like that, so fat and obese? And so I like to ask people questions about why they do that. And then there's people in there that are dogs. And you could be anything you want in there. You could be like a little pile of shit with legs, and you could walk around like a little pile of shit with legs and arms. You can build any kind of avatar. You can be anything. So there's people in there that do have a sense of humor and do stuff. But most of the people in there are just their egos at work every second. So they're design avatars, how they imagine whatever, and everybody does whatever. And there's all these stores with zillions of avatars.
Okay.
And it's so weird. And you know what's really strange? Like the stores where you buy all the different avatars, you go look at them, and they have all these avatars standing there. There's zillions of them, right?
Right.
But most of the black avatars are frowning. Or have sort of a little scowl on their face, And I think, well, that's not by accident. Somebody had to draw that. That's an artwork. So
Okay.
most of these avatars
Yeah.
have this kind of look on their face, like that kind of ghetto scowl, kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, like I don't mean it in a derogatory sense,
Right.
but I find it highly unusual. Like we make movies in the virtual world, and we go in there and we create avatars. Like the movie we're working on now, we have 3 college students are some of the main characters. Well, those 3 students, we had to design them from scratch, and they had to work good together.
Yeah.
Like you can design an avatar, like one avatar, and it will look good, but you put it with another avatar, there's no visual chemistry, just like in the movies, it's the same thing. So the 3 college students, it took us like 6 months to get them to the point that there was a visual chemistry between the 3 students. So they look like something other than just 3 separate avatars standing there. Like there's actual visual chemistry.
Yeah, for sure. That's
Not
important.
a connected chemistry. It's hard to explain. You can't really put your finger on it, but it's just like if you were casting a movie and
Yep.
you put the people together, they're all good actors, but somehow it doesn't work.
Right.
There's something not right about it, so they keep trying to change the casting until they get it right.
Yeah.
The same thing in the virtual worlds, like there's a visual chemistry between avatars.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so in the process of creating different avatars for anything, we needed a black avatar for this one scene. And so we created black avatar. It was really hard to find an avatar that wasn't frowning, a male black. So that people draw all these zillions of black avatars in there that you can buy, and they're all like, Like, I don't know, they're all just like, you know, got that look on their face. And they go, hey, wait, are there any of them that are just sort of looking like regular, not angry looking, you know?
Right.
And so somehow in somebody's head, they're drawing those avatars on purpose. They don't accidentally look angry. But
Yeah.
it's overwhelming how many of them look like that. So it's not racism to say that I noticed that, because just go in the virtual world and go to the avatar store and you'll be shocked, you know. You'll have to look for many avatars to find one. And that's what we did. We finally found one that didn't look angry. There's a couple of them in there that don't, you know. Anyway, I didn't mean to get racial on the show. But the virtual world is crazy. And then there's Asian avatars. I have an Asian avatar with a samurai tattoos all over its whole body. So it's a samurai avatar.
Oh, nice.
A male avatar, samurai avatar, with a barbed wire vagina.
Why on earth would you do that?
Well, it's just, you know, you go in there and there's all this stuff available. And there was this like most freaked out thing I'd ever seen in my life. And so I got it and put it all together, and it was like fucking amazing, you know. And not that I have use for an avatar with a barbed wire vagina, but what I do with it, this is what I do with it. You got to understand, when you go to, like, let's say you go to the glue that keeps this virtual world together. A lot of the glue is the music, right? So people open clubs all over the world because people are in the virtual world. Like, let's say you go in the virtual world right now, and there's like 60,000 people are in there at any given moment. Okay. That's not a lot by game standards, but some of the games have zillions of people in all the time. But our virtual world, there'll be like 60,000 people in there. What was I going to tell you about it? Fuck, I sidetracked and forgot.
Oh, damn.
Fuck, I was going to tell you something about it. But anyway, you go in there, there's all these people in there. So, you go to the clubs, and you'll go to a club in South Africa, and everybody in South Africa is at this club. Most of the people know, you know, there'll be people from all over the world at the club, but the people that run the club are from South Africa, or they're from Australia, or they're from Brazil, or they're from, you know, Eastern Europe, or wherever, you know.
Right.
And then... And so if you go to the clubs, they have a certain style because there's certain places. Like, so the thing that really freaked me out was I went to these clubs, these Asian clubs, like in Japan and places, and all the avatars look like fucking Ken and Barbie. So that's why I had the avatar, the Asian avatar with the barbed wire vagina and all the tattoos. So I go to these clubs where everybody looks like Ken and Barbie. But I know they're all Japanese, and they don't. So I go in there as this samurai with the whole fucking wild ass looking thing, and then I start asking them, "How come you all look like Ken and Barbie?" That's an example how you might fuck with people or something.
Okay.
And yeah, but that's a legitimate question. Why do all the Japanese people want to look like fucking Ken and Barbie?
Are these Japanese Kens and Barbies, or just like white Kens and Barbies?
No, Ken and Barbie, like white Ken and Barbie.
White Ken and Barbie, wow.
Yeah, so why do they, in the virtual world, you can be anything, right? There's zillions of avatars. You can go get any kind of avatar you want. Why do the people in Japan get avatars that look like fucking Ken and Barbie? Now, that's a good question for them, so I ask them that question. When I go to their clubs, I go, how come you all look like Ken and Barbie? And I look like the most wild samurai you've ever seen, right? And that's one of the avatars I have. And I very rarely use that avatar. I haven't used it in years, actually, but it's a great avatar. And everybody who's played for a long time has a bunch of avatars, right? You just have all kinds of avatars. So that's an example of the virtual world, how you can go and, like, it's so weird how people's minds work. And I've noticed, I went to a club recently in Japan, and there was more Japanese-looking people there. That they're starting to use Japanese avatars more. But like 5 or 6 years ago, you'd go to those clubs, and they all look like Ken and Barbie. But maybe my busting their chops made them think about it and change. I don't know. Maybe I'm being arrogant. But that's part of the fun of the virtual world, is to see stuff like that.
And who initially introduced you to that game?
It's so weird. Somebody told me there's a virtual world. You could go in there and you could play for 800 people.
Okay.
Play music for 800 people. So I thought, I can go into this virtual world and play music for 800 people live.
Wow.
And so I thought, oh, wow. And so I started asking around if anybody knew about the virtual world. Turned out there was this girl, this piano player. She played on one of Rod Stewart's albums, one of the more recent albums where he did a bunch of songs. Anyway, really good piano player girl, Alicia Morgan. And yeah, she plays in some bands around. She's good. She's a good girl. Taught herself how to play when she was like 20 or something. It was just an amazing story. But she's a good piano player, really good piano player. So a friend of mine, a guitar player, Dave Widow, he told me he knows this girl who's in the virtual world. I go, you're kidding. So he put me in touch with her. And I said, would you come over here to Venice and help me get in the virtual world because I want to play live and do this live music thing.
Right.
So she came over. She helped me get in the virtual world. From the second I was in there, I was going, oh, fuck, I loved it, you know.
So would you have to hook up your keyboard and play in order to do a show?
Well, if you go in the virtual world any time of the day or night, there's people doing live concerts from somewhere in the world.
Wow, okay.
And it used to be there was zillions of them. There aren't as many now as there was 5 years ago before COVID. But anyway, there's all these people doing these concerts in the virtual world. It's happening continually. But the problem was, I thought you could play for 800 people, but it turned out a full sim will only hold 50 people.
Okay.
And a homestead sim will only hold 22 people. So what that means is you could only play for 22 people, that they could only 22 people could actually be there live watching you, or 50 if you had a full sim. And 50 is still not a lot. So what happened to me was I go in the virtual world, I start checking out all the music. It's all shit. I start realizing, fuck, this is where musicians come to die. You know, it was one of those kind of places. Like you go in, you hear some of the worst music in the world. I think these people couldn't get arrested. You know, they play so bad.
So are these people actually performing themselves?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, just like if we were sitting here right now playing, it was going streaming live.
Wow. Okay.
You won't see them. You'll see their avatar. But they're at home playing.
And you'll hear what
and
they're
their
playing.
avatar's standing there strumming like corny looking, you know.
That's pretty
like
amazing.
a cartoon. And so those concerts are going on all day long. We could go in there right now, there'd be a concert going.
Wow.
And most of the people are so bad, just beyond bad. There's a couple of them that are good. You know, you can hear them, they're good. You can hear the real deal, and they're out there playing, you know. But most of the people are pathetically bad, just shockingly bad.
Wow.
And they can't count to four. You know, in my world, that's if you can't count to four, I'm having a hard time with you.
Right.
So anyway, the virtual world, I found out you could only play for 50 people. So I think, well, I'm not going to come in here and play just for 50 people or 25 people.
Why did they say 800 at first?
I got wrong information.
Wrong information, okay.
Somebody told me wrong. They said
see.
you could go in there and play for 800 people. I thought 800 people. I started doing the math, thinking I could charge and I'd make money doing it. You know, it made some kind of sense.
I
you know?
see. So that's what started
But I just
that.
didn't want to go in there and just, you know, for no reason.
Yeah, I see. That makes sense.
So then there I am. I join the virtual world. I find out it's not what I thought. The music is all terrible, which doesn't matter because music's always terrible. You go out and watch a zillion bands, like maybe 1 in 1,000 is just mind fuck blowing your mind. You know what I mean? So most bands you see, they're just average, right? Most musicians are average. That's life. So the virtual world's the same way. Most everything is pretty average in there, or below average, or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
You know, but that's a judgment. A lot of people are there watching this live music, acting like it's good. I can't believe it. But that's how it goes in there. Anyway, so I join the virtual world and I say, oh, fuck, it's not what I thought. But you know what was really unexpected for me when I joined it, because I joined it to play music. And instantly I realized it was so much more than that, and it was so much more than what I had imagined, and I was instantly hooked, just hooked, like I couldn't get enough of it day and night, you know.
Just chatting with folk and breaking people's balls.
No, just being in there,
stuff,
standing there by myself, looking at my avatar, walking around, exploring. There's all these zillions of places. People build all these huge ass things that you can just go explore. You could go in there every day and explore and never run out of stuff to see.
Yeah.
There's a college in Istanbul, Turkey, and they have classes where they use our virtual world to design stuff and do art. Some of those people do the most amazing shit, man. So there's people all over the world in our virtual world. And like I said before, you can take classes in there from college and get real credits, real life credits.
That's
In
insane.
the class. Well, the other thing about our virtual world, people sell stuff in there. They sell eyeballs and hair and clothes and shoes and cars and boats, just like Amazon. Anything you can type. We have a thing called a marketplace. It's exactly like Amazon, but it's virtual. You can type anything you can imagine in the marketplace, and it will. You can buy it. Whatever you can think of. It's just like fucking Amazon, except it's all virtual. And last year, our marketplace paid out $60 million. We have our own currency exchange in the virtual world. And the currency, you can be in any country in the world and exchange this virtual currency for real money.
Okay.
Okay, so the virtual currency is like, and it changes every day, the currency rate. It's like fucking amazing. And so, yeah, you can. So these people, they like, let's say DJs, for instance, people work as DJs in there. Most DJs do like a 2-hour stint, and people tip them. And so they'll get like, let's say they make 5,000 lindens. Linden dollars are Linden dollars. The virtual world we're in, like 25,000 Linden dollars is equal to $100.
Okay.
So if somebody makes 5,000 lindens, they've made like $20 for being a DJ. So there's a lot of people in there being DJs. They do it every day. They're in there working. They're serious. It's a heart attack about it. They want to make their tips, and they're making $100 a week, whatever they're making. But there's other people selling shit, like selling clothes and stuff. And the marketplace takes a percentage of all the sales, but the people make money. So last year, our marketplace paid out $60 million to people that were selling stuff. So there's people in there real serious as a heart attack.
Wow.
There's a Chinese girl many years ago. She lived in Germany, but she had people in China working for her. They would design these amazing palatial places in the virtual world and sell them. And she made over $1 million selling houses to people. So another thing people do in the virtual world is they want to buy a house like they could never own in real life. So people will go in there and they'll have these fucking mansions in the virtual world, like something they could imagine in their, that they could imagine, that like this most amazing. So they'll design these most amazing things, these most amazing mansions, and they'll be sitting there like their mansion. They got yachts, they got planes, they got cars, you name it, and they just pretend to have all this stuff. And that's one kind of player. But we kind of look down on those players because they're like still stuck. They're materialistic. All they can think about is having stuff, like they go in the virtual world and all they can get in their mind is the stuff they would like to own. You know what I mean? So they got cars and planes and shit.
Can they drive any of these vehicles?
Yeah, you can drive the vehicles.
Really?
They have drag racing. You can drag race for money in there.
Holy shit.
They have racing. You can race for money. You can fight for money. It's insane in this world. You can do whatever you want. Whatever you can imagine, somebody's doing it. Somebody's set it up. There's casinos. I was going to open a casino, but then it was so depraved. Like there's casinos in the virtual world and people actually gamble and you actually make money.
Wow. And
so I went and talked to these guys that build the casino machines, and they gave me a bunch of machines just to try out. They go, here, take these, try them out, because they can see,
Yeah.
And so we tried them out. But then I started checking out because I knew some people that gamble all the time. And it's just like in the real world, how the people go and sit at the slot machines all day and gamble?
Right.
There's people in the virtual world, they go to the casino and park their avatar in front of a machine and gamble all day. They sit there and fucking gamble all day, even though they're gambling small amounts because it's lindens and it's very small amounts of money.
Right.
But they're sitting there all day and they're totally addicted, just like any kind of gambling anywhere, right?
Wow, that's a shame.
And so I thought, that's why I decided not to own a casino.
Yeah.
Because I realized, I started going around checking it out. I realized, man, the same people are in here every day that is depraved. It's like depraved, I just didn't want to, something about that was weird energy. I think I don't need that kind of energy, even though it was attractive,
Right.
And you saw the casino that we built for the movie.
Yeah, that's right. Pretty
we built
impressive.
we built a hotel casino for the movie, and but the machines didn't work, and the casino guys would have replaced all those machines with machines that worked if we wanted to, but I didn't want a zillion people hanging out there gambling. It'd just be like, just make my skin crawl, because it's a sickness. Yeah, and the people that do that, they're just sick. I have some friends that do it, but they just sit there all day long. I know this people in the virtual world for 14 years. They've been sitting there every day, the same people in the same place.
Jesus.
For 14 years,
I'm sure there's something better to do with one's time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty whack. So the virtual world is just like anything you can imagine. I hope it's all right I'm talking about this today. I don't know what else to talk about. But anything you can imagine you can do in there. So there's people racing. They have drag racing for money.
That's pretty cool.
They have all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. And people are selling shit in there, making clothes, selling clothes, little stores. It's just like anything you can imagine. Yeah.
And this is strictly a computer game. This isn't on any console or anything. This is you need a
No, it's
computer
a computer game
or laptop.
Yeah. And it's not for phones. It's not on phones. You have to have an actual computer.
Just wanted to clarify that. Yeah. Cool.
So, like the other thing is like talking about people having all their houses and all their riches that they want to show that they have in there.
Yeah.
Like there's a certain kind of person that thinks like that. But at our sim, we have no houses on our sim at all. Everybody that lives in our tribe, they just live on a rug because the weather's always nice in the virtual world. You don't need a big fucking house and a Corvette and a jet plane and a yacht. And all these people have their yachts and all this shit. Why would you aspire to that? Anyway, our whole tribe, we have none of that shit. We have no mansions, just rugs. People live on rugs or live on the beach or they have a little palm tree they live under. And it's, because you don't need that stuff. It's like that speaks more about somebody's shit. Like we say, everybody brings their shit with them in the virtual world. Yeah. So somebody comes in there and they start building mansions and having the big palatial thing like they brought their shit with them, right?
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, I love it in there. I go in there every day. I've been going in there for 14 and a half years, almost every day for 14 and a half years. The avatars got better and better and better. Now we have really great looking avatars. Our virtual world, there's games that look better than our virtual world, as you know.
Oh, yeah.
You've seen it.
Yeah, no question.
Some of the most modern video games are a little more advanced than our world, but our world's getting better and it's pretty darn good. And we can tell a story. And that's the idea of the movie we're working on, is to tell a story. That's another thing I noticed. The second I noticed that the virtual world, I didn't want to play live there because it was fucked up. The second I noticed that, I also noticed that all of a sudden all the avatars started looking like actors to me, and I started realizing this place is a fucking movie studio. This whole virtual world is an incredible movie studio with all the locations that are there. People have built people have built Amsterdam, people have built Tokyo in there, people built the Venice Boardwalk in there. Like you name it, people have built it. And so where could you find all those locations? And all the wardrobe, any clothes you could imagine are all in there. You could buy them for 5 cents or 15 cents.
Wow, yeah.
Everything's so cheap.
Yep.
Like you could just it's like a virtual movie studio all ready to go. It's there, it's all ready to go, and nobody's really using it as that. A few people make little movies in there and stuff. Naturally, there's a bunch of little movies.
Yep.
But nobody's really dove in hard because it's such a resource. It's like amazing that there's so much resource in there. Like anything you can imagine is in there. So any location you could imagine is in there. And if it isn't in there, you can create it yourself. It's just like pretty amazing. I know I'm raving here. Here's Lee raving off. How long have we been doing this today?
We're approaching 35 minutes.
Okay, everybody, 35 minutes. Now you can see how much I love the virtual world. I do love it. Yeah, and we're working on this movie. That's why I'm saying there's so much I want to do. It's hard to do the podcast every day because I'm thinking I wish I was just doing the movie. I wish there's so much to do. We need like a zillion people to help us. We need $1 zillion to help us hire $1 zillion people. Anybody got $1 zillion out there? If you have $1 zillion and you want to help us, even a half a zillion would be cool, or $1 billion,
What's
or whatever.
Bigger, a billion or a zillion?
What?
What's bigger, a billion or a zillion?
A zillion's bigger than $1 billion. A trillion's bigger. Is a trillion bigger than a zillion? Oh, have you seen the new shit on Apple phones? The new stuff, the new AI, GTP5 is going to be on Apple phones.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah, and so when you ask Siri something, if you allow it to, Siri will have the intelligence of AI.
Wow.
So when you ask it questions, it's just going to be beyond. Anyway, I was watching this stuff about the new shit.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
so exciting.
Wow.
And people are so afraid of it. I think, fuck, take me away. I would, you know what? If I could live in the virtual world, if I could leave this body and live in the virtual world, I would do it right now. I would just go in there and hang out. Yeah, it's so cool in there. But we can't. Not yet, anyway.
I like Grand Theft Auto 5 because they do a replica of LA. You've got Santa Monica and Venice Beach. You can walk to all these places and
I haven't played
Beverly
that
Hills. It's an entire recreation. You got downtown LA, and you can go to all these spots. It's really cool.
You know, I
to
was
see how
going
they did
to
that.
get that, but I thought, no, I'll get so fucking hung up on it, my creativity, I'll be all sidetracked. Like, I mean, that's the problem. If I start playing something like that, I'll just play it to death.
Yeah.
Same with those driving simulators. My son has a driving simulator that you actually sit in. It's like one of those deluxe fucking ones.
Oh yeah.
And
Yep.
they've mapped all the great tracks, all the race tracks in the whole country.
Oh, that's cool.
In the whole world, actually. All the great race tracks are in there. You just punch it and you can drive on the track. So
Yeah.
before you go race at a track,
Yeah.
you drive the track a zillion times virtually.
Wow.
So you know that, and it's real accurate. It's real accurate. Anyway, I love virtual stuff. I love virtual world. I do. I'm looking forward to it. I talk about it. I just want to jump off and do virtual. Okay, everybody. Music, virtual. It was fun today. The kitty was well behaved. He didn't bite us. Hello, little boy. Hello. Dylan, I talked straight through as usual.
Yeah,
Sorry,
almost
dude.
40 minutes.
40? Okay, we're out of here, everybody. That's what I do. I talk and I go in the virtual world and I have fun. I ask questions. I poke at people.
That's
I
pretty
love
cool.
being a cartoon. Imagine that every day of your life for 14 years, you go in for a few hours and be a cartoon.
Wow.
That's what I've been doing for 14 years. I've been going in almost every day and being a cartoon.
I should bring my Xbox over here. I can show you some really good graphic.
Oh yeah, I'd
games
lose my
today.
mind. I'd lose my mind. Yeah, I can't get caught up in that. I'll just disappear and play till I die or something. Yeah, I'm 78 now, everybody, almost 79, so I have no time to fuck around, you know. Like every time I waste time doing something, like I used to side trip and I didn't care. I would side trip and go, phew, side trip for a year or so, do some wild shit. But now, no side trips, man. I got to concentrate. Maximum creativity, nonstop. Okay.
That's great.
We're out of here.
Good
Dylan,
stuff,
it was
Lee.
nice seeing you.
Yep. Good to see you, Lee. Great day today.
Fuck, I was hyper today. No weed. That's what happens when you don't smoke weed before the podcast. You talk like a motherfucker. Anyway. I love it, man. I'm so happy talking about the virtual. We've been oh, by the way, we've been experimenting. Dylan will tell you. We're trying to get the virtual characters to be on the podcast.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So we built our set, this set here our live set, we built it in the virtual world, but it didn't turn out quite right because the size of the avatars and the size of the set. So we're trying to scale it, but we're going to, hopefully here in the next month or two, we'll figure out how to do a podcast using the avatars, and we can broadcast from the virtual world right to our thing here. And you guys can see, we'll have a whole panel of avatars. But so far it didn't work. The avatars were too tall because our avatars are tall. They're like, all of them are like 7 foot tall. Anyway, that's something to look forward to, everybody. We're going to get out of here. Just think about that, man. We got so much good stuff in the future. Yeah, it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun. I advise you all to go in the virtual world, and I'll talk more about it tomorrow. I got more to say about the virtual world. I just remembered just now some other stuff to say. Okay, we're out of here. Dylan, nice seeing you.
Yep. Good to see you, Lee.
Orange Kitty, you're a well-behaved little boy. Okay, everybody. 3, 2, 1, poof.